The tension in the room was palpable when Cam Skattebo made a comment that would ignite one of the most talked-about moments in recent sports media. During a live show featuring Micah Parsons and the Sanders brothers, what began as light-hearted competitive banter between athletes quickly transformed into something far more charged. The atmosphere had been friendly, with players exchanging playful jabs and sharing laughs, but everything changed when Skattebo looked directly at Shedeur Sanders and called him broke. The room fell into an awkward silence. Side eyes were exchanged. The energy shifted from casual entertainment to uncomfortable tension. What had felt like harmless trash talk suddenly stopped feeling like a joke at all. Shedeur's response became the defining moment of the entire exchange. There was no yelling, no defensive outburst, no emotional reaction whatsoever. Instead, Sanders offered a controlled smile, calm, confident, and composed. His silence spoke volumes. In high-pressure moments, composure is power, and Shedeur demonstrated exactly that. While emotional reactions reveal vulnerability, strategic silence projects strength. This wasn't about protecting his ego. This was about understanding leverage. Shedeur knew something that the room, and perhaps Skattebo himself, would soon discover. The facts told a completely different story. The narrative that Shedeur Sanders is broke collapses under even basic scrutiny of modern NFL earning structures. Jersey sales serve as a demand indicator, and reportedly, Shedeur leads the entire league in jersey sales, not just among rookies, but among all NFL players. This statistic alone dismantles the entire premise of the insult. Jersey sales translate directly into market power. They represent consumer demand, brand recognition, and cultural influence. The revenue-sharing implications are significant. When a player's jersey outsells established veterans, it signals that their marketability transcends traditional metrics like draft position or on-field statistics. In the modern NFL, draft slot no longer equals earning ceiling. The game has fundamentally changed. The Gatorade equity move revealed Shedeur's chess-level thinking in a checkers environment. Reports indicate that Gatorade offered Sanders $60 million over 3 years in guaranteed endorsement money. Most rookies would sign immediately. Shedeur chose differently. He opted for a 3% equity stake in Gatorade instead of the guaranteed cash. This decision exposes the fundamental difference between an endorsement and ownership. Endorsements provide immediate income. Equity provides long-term compounding value. A 3% stake in a company valued at over $20 billion represents ownership in a global brand that generates billions annually. This signals an investor mindset, not a rookie mindset. Shedeur understands the difference between generational wealth and contract wealth. One funds a lifestyle. The other builds dynasties. The Nike deal structure further demonstrates Sanders' unprecedented leverage. The initial framework reportedly stands at $125 million, with activation triggers once Shedeur steps onto an NFL field. Once active, the deal reportedly doubles to $250 million over 4 years. The most remarkable component is the 50% jersey revenue split, an arrangement that is extraordinarily rare in athlete endorsements. Most players receive flat appearance fees or tiered bonuses. Revenue splits give athletes a direct stake in their own commercial success. This structure creates scalable revenue that beats flat signing bonuses every time. Traditional rookie contracts lock players into predetermined compensation regardless of performance or popularity. Structured leverage deals allow earnings to grow proportionally with influence and demand. The fifth-round draft narrative deserves examination because it fueled much of the perception that Skattebo referenced. Draft criticism followed Shedeur throughout the pre-draft process, with analysts questioning his arm strength, mobility, and NFL readiness. However, brand power, strategic timing, and the nil era have fundamentally changed how athletes build wealth. Comparisons with prospects like Cam Ward and Travis Hunter highlight how earning power now depends more on influence than draft position. Ward and Hunter commanded massive nil deals before ever playing professionally. The traditional model, get drafted high, sign rookie contract, earn through performance, has been replaced by a new paradigm where athletes build brands and negotiate leverage before entering professional leagues. The fan base and social media explosion following Skattebo's comment proved the power of digital-era amplification. Fans immediately began resurfacing receipts, contract numbers, endorsement details, and jersey sales statistics all trended across platforms. Screenshots of Shedeur's reported deals circulated widely. The jersey sales data became a talking point across sports media. Underestimating a player with a strong support base backfires in the social media age because information spreads instantaneously and context accumulates rapidly. What might have been forgotten in previous eras now becomes permanent digital record, and Shedeur's supporters ensured that the facts were impossible to ignore. The business gap revealed by this exchange extends far beyond one awkward moment. There exists a fundamental difference between making money and building wealth that many athletes, analysts, and fans fail to grasp. Contracts provide income. Equity builds wealth. Revenue splits create partnership. The broke comment exposed a misunderstanding of modern athlete economics that operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Front offices observe composure because it indicates emotional intelligence and decision-making under pressure. Brands observe professionalism because marketability depends on public perception and media management. Shedeur's calm response checked both boxes. His silence communicated more strategic awareness than any verbal rebuttal could have achieved. The bigger picture reveals a new NFL blueprint emerging in real time. The athlete empowerment era has fundamentally shifted power dynamics between players, teams, and brands. The NIL revolution shaped early financial literacy for an entire generation of athletes who now enter professional sports with existing business relationships, revenue streams, and ownership stakes. Ownership conversations have become mainstream among players who previously would have focused exclusively on maximizing contract guarantees. Boardroom-level thinking has replaced locker room talk among elite athletes who understand that their careers extend beyond playing fields. The scoreboard isn't just measured on Sundays anymore, it's measured in boardrooms, investment portfolios, and equity stakes. Shedeur's financial trajectory positions him to become one of the highest-earning active athletes across all sports. If his on-field performance matches his business momentum, his earnings ceiling rises dramatically. The reported $250 million Nike deal, combined with the Gatorade equity stake, jersey revenue splits, and whatever rookie contract he signs, creates a financial foundation that most veterans never achieve. Add performance bonuses, additional endorsements, and the compounding value of equity positions, and the total lifetime earnings could exceed $500 million before age 30. This doesn't account for post-career business ventures, broadcasting opportunities, or brand extensions that typically follow successful NFL careers. The viral moment with Cam Skattebo will ultimately serve as a lesson in leverage, timing, and strategic silence. Quiet confidence consistently defeats loud commentary because it forces critics to confront facts rather than respond to emotions. Ownership beats quick checks because compound growth outpaces linear income over time. Structure beats noise because sustainable systems outlast viral moments. Shedeur Sanders didn't need to defend himself verbally because the numbers defend him automatically. His smile wasn't arrogance, it was recognition. He recognized that someone had brought a narrative to a fact fight. The modern athlete operates in an environment where financial sophistication matters as much as physical talent. Shedeur Sanders represents the evolution of that model, a player who understands that draft position measures one thing, but market power measures something entirely different. Jersey sales leading the league while being a fifth-round pick defies traditional logic because traditional logic no longer applies. The infrastructure has changed. The opportunities have expanded. The athletes who recognize these shifts early build advantages that compound throughout their careers. What appeared to be a simple insult during a live show actually revealed a fundamental misunderstanding about how elite athletes build wealth in the modern era. Skattebo's comment assumed that draft position equals earning power, that contracts define financial success, and that traditional metrics still determine who's winning financially. All three assumptions are outdated. Shedeur's response, or lack thereof, demonstrated understanding that arguing would validate the premise. Instead, he let the facts speak. The $60 million Gatorade offer he turned down exceeds many players' entire career earnings. The 3% equity he chose instead could be worth hundreds of millions over decades. The $250 million Nike structure dwarfs most endorsement deals in NFL history. The 50% jersey revenue split creates passive income that scales with popularity. The lesson extends beyond one viral moment or one player's financial portfolio. It represents a shift in how professional athletes approach their careers, their brands, and their long-term wealth building. Contracts are negotiated differently. Endorsements are structured differently. Equity stakes are prioritized differently. The players who adapt to this new landscape separate themselves financially from those who still operate under outdated assumptions. Shedeur Sanders adapted early, negotiated aggressively, and positioned himself strategically. When someone called him broke on live television, he didn't need to respond verbally because his business decisions had already responded on his behalf. The room's tension that day revealed more than just an awkward exchange between athletes. It revealed the gap between perception and reality, between traditional thinking and modern strategy, between making money and building wealth. Shedeur's smile wasn't defensive, it was knowing. He knew exactly what Skattebo didn't. He knew the numbers, the structures, the long-term value. And most importantly, he knew that silence was the most powerful response available because it forced everyone else to discover the truth themselves. That discovery process happened rapidly across social media, sports outlets, and fan communities. The receipts emerged. The contracts were reported. The jersey sales data circulated. And the narrative collapsed under the weight of facts.